The air was thick with the scent of engine oil and fresh paint as the bright lights reflected off polished chrome. In the middle of that glossy perfection, the glass doors opened, and an old man stepped in, his boots worn, his shirt faded, his cap torn at the edge. For a moment, the laughter and chatter around the showroom softened into curiosity. He looked completely out of place among the sleek cars and the confident smiles of the staff. A few people exchanged glances, whispering as if he had wandered into the wrong world. But the man didn't seem to notice. His eyes moved slowly, taking in every detail of the place until they stopped on a white Mercedes truck. He reached out, ran his rough fingers over the cool metal, and whispered softly, almost to himself, "She's a beauty." Little did they know, this moment was the beginning of something extraordinary. A quiet laugh rippled through the room, small at first, then louder as the old man's words sank in. To them, it was absurd. A man in tattered clothes talking about buying trucks worth fortunes. The receptionist covered her mouth, hiding her amusement, while the manager smirked and said politely, "Sir, these aren't bicycles." It was the kind of moment that revealed how quickly people judge what they see. No one wondered who he might be or what story brought him there. They only saw the worn-out shoes, the unshaven beard, the tired eyes. In their world, success wore suits and smelled of expensive perfume. But behind that weathered face stood years of hard work, loss, and endurance. A lifetime no one cared to notice. And as the laughter faded, his calm, steady gaze told a truth they were all too blind to see. Appearances can lie. The laughter still hung in the air when the old man straightened his back and looked directly at the manager. His voice was calm, but carried a quiet authority that silenced the room. "I said I'll take 5 of these," he repeated, as if ordering a cup of coffee instead of $500,000 fleet. For a heartbeat, no one moved. The manager blinked, unsure if she'd heard him right, then replied with forced patience, "Sir, perhaps you're in the wrong place." He smiled faintly, adjusting the strap of his backpack. "No, I'm exactly where I need to be," he said. There was no anger, no embarrassment, only certainty. Something about his composure unsettled everyone. It didn't fit their assumptions. His tone, so grounded, made mockery sound foolish. And in that still moment, it became clear this was no ordinary man lost in a showroom. This was someone with a purpose. As silence filled the showroom, his story began to unfold in fragments. Years ago, he had been an engineer, a soldier, and later, a man who built his own small trucking company from the ground up. Life, however, had been unforgiving. His wife passed away in a hospital he couldn't afford. His business was swallowed by larger corporations, and his home became a workshop floor where he slept beside broken engines. Yet through every loss, he refused to surrender. For 5 long years, he repaired trucks on dusty roads, saved every dollar, and carried a dream no one believed in: a company that would give work to those society had forgotten: veterans, single parents, the homeless. He called it Second Route Logistics, a chance to rebuild lives through wheels and willpower. Today wasn't a fantasy. It was the day his dream finally stood tall before him. When he handed over the papers, the laughter stopped for good. The manager glanced down, expecting nonsense, but her expression changed the moment she saw the official stamps, the verified company details, and the unmistakable signature of the regional head of Mercedes itself. Her hands trembled slightly as realization sank in. The man they had mocked was not some wanderer chasing fantasies. He had come prepared, with every document in place and every payment confirmed. When she finally looked up, her eyes met his, and he spoke softly. "He was my student once. The man who signed that paper." The room fell silent, shame replacing every trace of arrogance. No one knew what to say, only that they had witnessed something rare, a moment where truth spoke louder than wealth. The man they had judged proved that dignity needs no disguise. As the sun dipped low and the trucks gleamed under the fading light, the old man stood quietly, watching his dream take shape. The same people who had laughed earlier now saw him differently, not as a stranger, but as a man who had carried hope through hardship. The manager approached him, her voice softer this time, confessing how quickly she had judged him by what she saw. He smiled gently and said, "Dreams don't get smaller because people stop believing, they just wait for the right hands to build them again." The words lingered, heavy with truth. When the trucks finally rolled out, driven by people who once had nothing, the town watched in awe. What began as mockery ended in respect. And in that moment, everyone learned a lesson that would outshine even the brightest chrome. Never judge a soul by the dust it carries.